Good morning, my fellow Fergies. Welcome to another episode of Grassroots Vegan. I did something back in March. I bought Facebook, the stock. I think it was in March, or was it February? Anyways, I bought the stock and I broke all of my investing principles when I bought this. Number one, it was an impulse buy. It was early in the morning. I was looking at pre-market trading. There was a news report that Facebook had bought some company that builds drones, and they were planning on using these drones to provide internet service to remote areas of the world where you could not otherwise get it. And I got excited about that. And without looking at any of the fundamentals, I just went in and bought Facebook. And fundamentally, Facebook was not a good investment for a value investor. I mean, its PE ratio was high, very high. It paid no dividend. I didn't even go into other important factors about Facebook. Again, it was an impulse buy, and I bought it at $64 a share at the time, only to see it go down to $53, and that was painful. And then for quite a while, it traded well below $60, and I thought it was a write-off. And I was almost contemplating selling it at that point, just to, recoup some of my money. And now you got to understand, it's not like I put everything I had into this. It was a small investment, but still, nobody likes to lose money. Anyhow, so I kind of just put it in the, I just put it in the back there, thinking, what the heck? Maybe one day it'll prove itself. And that day came sooner than I thought. Just a couple of days ago, they came out with their second quarter earnings, and they blew expectations right out of the water. So the stock shot up. It went as high as $78. It's now pulled back to about 75, just over $75 right now. So nice little investment. However, I wouldn't make a habit of buying stock like that. The worst thing you can do is buy on news, because by the time the news has come to you, the market is pretty much already priced in whatever news that is. So you can't really win that way. Anyhow, it turned out to be, a bad mistake on my part. It turned out to be quite profitable. It sometimes works that way, but if you think that, oh wow, that worked that time, I'll do it again, that's when you get into this kind of gambling mode, and you're destined to lose at some point. So what I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about stocks. What I want to talk about is, I've given this a lot of thought. I'm currently practicing a low-fat, raw vegan diet and I leave myself that option to eat cooked food. And it's not like only under very special circumstances, like if I, where I'm put in a position that's my only choice. I don't necessarily wait for that. It's just, I don't believe in putting food restrictions on myself. I don't find it helpful. And I have eaten cooked food. Last weekend I had some cooked food. But again, I'll go for a week, I'll go for 2 weeks, I'll go for a month eating 100% raw. And then one day I'll decide to eat cooked food for whatever reason that may be. So, but then I was thinking, okay, what is the best way to eat? Is it low-fat, raw vegan, where you're getting most of your calories from fruit and vegetables, mostly from fruit, because there's not a lot in vegetables, and eating some overt fats like nuts and seeds, avocados? Or is it low-fat vegan, and that's where you're eating mostly cooked food, not just, sometimes, but most of the time, but it's low-fat. So you would probably eat a lot of rice, a lot of potatoes, a lot of pasta, peas and lentils and all that kind of stuff. And there's many wonderful ways to create dishes with those kinds of foods. Or is it raw till 4, where you're eating pretty much fruit throughout the day, and then in the evening time you're eating cooked, low-fat cooked food? Which is the best for most people? Now, for myself, I've done the raw till 4. I did it for quite a while, actually. And I've also done the low-fat vegan, that's where I experienced a lot of initial health benefits. That was because, when I came to that, I was really unhealthy. So there were some radical changes that happened during that period. The raw till 4 worked well as well, for me as well, except, again, I've mentioned this in my other video, I felt like I was bloated, and it did kind of, I don't know, it just seemed like eating cooked food every night was becoming a little much for me. So for myself, I just found that do 100% raw, low fat most of the time, but just leave yourself that option to eat cooked food when you feel it's appropriate to eat. And that has worked really well for me. But I would have to say, in practical terms, for most people, the best approach to this lifestyle is raw till 4. Yep, you heard it from me. I know in my other videos I was kind of leaning away from that, maybe a little bit critical about Harley and Freely for their strong campaign towards raw till 4, but I've come to realize that this is an effective way for a lot of people to succeed on a low-fat vegan diet and really benefit health-wise from it. So, whereas 100% raw, it's great, especially if you have good access, which I seem to, living in Toronto, I have good access to ripe, fresh. Now, when I'm talking fresh, I guess when it's coming from the tropics, it's not fresh. It's not freshly picked off the tree. No, or it's not ripe when it's picked off the tree, but fruit does ripen even after it's picked off the tree or wherever it comes from. So I can get good quality fruit, and that enables me to do this 100% raw. And I've been able to work it out financially as well. But for a lot of people, that's just not possible. And if you're not getting good quality fruit, then you may be doing your health a disservice, because you might not be getting all the nutrition that you need. So, and this is where raw till 4, I think, is a good solution. Now, I've talked before about, we're frugivores by nature, and we are designed as frugivores, but we have managed to use cooked food, and we've done pretty well on that. So, I know there's this tendency of wanting to seek some kind of level of dietary perfection, and that can be a trap, to be quite honest with you. It's sort of like the dog chasing its tail. You never catch it. No matter in what field in life you pursue perfection, ask anybody who's pursuing perfection. They never reach it. And the closer they seem to get, the further away it departs from them. It's just one of those things. So if you can find a healthy balance practicing a low-fat vegan lifestyle, then do it. And you know what? I think raw till 4 is probably the most effective for most people. But be creative. There's no rules to this game. There's no, other than, what's the common factor? Keep it low-fat, keep it vegan, keep it nutritional. Other than that, it's an open field. What do you want? Maybe you want to do raw until the weekend, right? Where 5 days out of the week you're eating 100% raw, and then on the weekend you decide to eat low-fat cooked food. That's great. Or maybe just raw till Sunday. You want to do 6 days. Or maybe 2 days raw and 1 day cooked. Whatever. There's so many different ways you can approach this. What really matters is to be able to eat healthy, eat nutritious plant-based food, low fat, and thrive without being stressed out financially, without being stressed out socially, without having your time being taxed, finding that balance right where you are. So you don't have to move away to a tropical place, leave your family or your friends or your job. Find a way to make it work within the context that you're living in right now. That's where that'll be the most satisfying and the most successful, I believe. So that's all I have to say about that. So let's see, maybe there's some interesting stocks here. Actually, I'm not buying anything in that department right now. The markets are really just roaring away. I don't quite understand what's going on here, but one day at a time. Take care and fruit up, carb up, and live a healthy life.